One thing I'll comment on that was left off from what Chris was talking about is because what you've just seen with the Partner Edition and everything we're doing is a SaaS service, I'd encourage you to think about your service delivery model. So think about the economics of increasing the number of customers that you service as a consultant or working for a system integrator, for example. And being able to do that remotely, securely, and in a fashion that doesn't involve travel and expenses and all of the things that you have to do to gather and get access to data when you're on premise. So several of our partners are experiencing new ways of doing service delivery. Ahead, if you know, in Chicago, Think Ahead has built an entire optimization service on our platform. And their bench, their consultants who operate from their offices are kept occupied delivering that optimization service using our platform and designing their own analytics on this developer edition that I'm going to be demonstrating to you here hopefully in a second. So this, as I was saying, the way you get to look at a customer's environment really does drive, I think, a new type of economics in the way you deliver your services. You can do more customers. They can be more consistent. They can be shared with other consultants, shared directly with the customer. All the benefits that go with a SaaS platform inherently drive, I think, new ways of delivering a service model that just haven't been done in our industry before because of the on-premise requirements. So the data lake makes that possible. This edition is really based on my obsession with the movie The Matrix, but the idea is
as long as you're not obsessed with the second and third ones.
Yeah, I'm not. I was very disappointed. Fell off a cliff after the first one. But the idea is that we are in the business of asking questions. And our data set, while we like to proclaim it delivers answers, it does. But what it really opens up is people like yourself whose minds have the experience and the skill sets to ask questions of a data set that simply hasn't existed in our industry before. So the thing that really brings you to our developer edition is really around asking certain questions of what this query system makes possible. And the genesis of this query system is really with some of our core engineers that were core to the vSphere API team that left VMware to join CloudPhysics back in the day. And we all had all kinds of problems with building and maintaining PowerShell scripts and other forms of query mechanisms into vSphere to not only gain access to it, but then to query it with some level of sophistication that required a very deep understanding of the object model. And I know several of you guys are involved in the PowerShell community around vSphere. It is a craft, and it is a very difficult task, and I admire you for the work you do with it. Our goal here is to effectively allow you to do queries in a way that doesn't require PowerShell, but can be done very rapidly, very effectively in a way that allows you to interrogate and have a Q&A with vSphere itself without engaging in scripting, so that when you do want to get to very sophisticated types of scripting, then you can reach for PowerShell or to APIs that we're going to be exposing off of our platform. So this interface was designed to literally achieve the aims of what does it mean to build out a script and do that very quickly, do it without having to have all types of setup and versioning and version control enabled in order to do this in a consistent and repetitive manner when you want to move your script from one environment to another. How do you do that without all of the overhead and noise that goes with that? And then also being able to share and collaborate in a way that you guys already kind of do this in the community with RV tools and a lot of other types of interfaces. Continue to enrich a set of scripts, but they are many times unique to the person and the author of that script. And there's enough differences there that actually make it difficult to achieve true collaboration at scale, especially when you try to get to more junior admins or people who are not experienced or have time to break out PowerShell. So I can set it up. So what I'd like to do is just build one card for you guys that I think is relevant to what one of you wrote about in a recent blog. And then I want to shift to some of the more sophisticated analysis that we've done off of our development platform to highlight for you guys as to what the magnitude of the power of the platform enables for stuff that really hasn't been ever, I think, delivered before.
It's still slow.
Ah, okay. So I'll try to, I'm going to build a card here. And is Andreas here? Where is Andreas? Ausgezeichnet. So, Andreas, you wrote about a recent bug that appeared on, driven by change block tracking, right?
Yeah.
Terrible thing, right? Let's all groan. Like, how many times has this happened?
Too many.
3 that we've counted so far
It's awful.
in CBT.
In CBT, it's a nightmare. It's very dangerous, as you wrote about. This bug in particular really creates a huge exposure in the sense that it effectively corrupts your backups. It's terrible. So there's no KBA out yet around this. I could not find one. You actually indicated this in your blog the other day. So we're going to go look at Anthony Spiteri's environment, and Anthony has given us generous
His
use,
backups are any good.
and see what is
Change block tracking.
see what's problematic. And so to form the query, we're going to go get the VM name, and then we want to get snapshot name. Wow, this is really slow. So we'll bring that over, and then the critical attribute that you identified was whether the snapshot was generated with a quiescent mode, if you recall.
That's right, yes.
So here we're going to get that attribute, and we have to parameterize this. You had another one, I remember. Wait a minute. So we need to filter this a little bit further. I think your blog talked about that this was relevant to the operating systems that were Server 2008 and later. Hold on. Sorry. It's down here in the OS name. Ah, sorry. I just remembered. It's a guest.
Colon.
You can't even read what you got going here, Chris.
You didn't spell good.
Oh, sorry. Yes. No? All right. What I'm hunting for here is what's decomposed here is on the left that I'm scrolling through is literally the entire vSphere API has been given friendly names. And if you're ever inside the vSphere API and you've tried to piece together the object model, it's kind of daunting. And there is an object hierarchy there. It's very hard to find your way through it. And that's, I think, 80% of the problem. The issue here has to do with the legacy that the API has carried forward, and it's become crufty over time. I mean, there are thousands of API calls. I mean, you're nodding. You clearly understand the pain that this creates. So let's go and get the guest full name. And now we need to parameterize this a little bit. So we know that this needs to equal true for the quiescent state. And we know that we want to go find 2008 servers. And
Wasn't guest full name not a OS? The VMs are all named 2008.
yeah, so it'll find, it's a regex expression that'll find anything with 2008 in it.
In the name.
In the guest operating system name.
Oh, guest up. Right.
So I could add, you can keep adding filters all you want here, but now let's go preview this. And so here you go. Anthony's got a few of these in his environment that he needs to go deal with. Here are the virtual machine names that he's got a problem with, and you got to go address these quickly. You got to go do what your blog said. Actuate around what you recommended in the blog. Go find these virtual machines, go find those snapshots here, and those are probably corrupt. You probably don't have a consistent state because of this bug. Now you need to go and do something about it. So effectively your recommendation, if I recall, was go do a full backup again just to make sure you actually have a consistent
and
state.
roll back the express page 6, of course.
Oh, that's right. Yep. So this is what this platform has been designed to do, is just make a very ad hoc system readily available to you guys to ask literally any type of question. And to form this query using Power CLI and the object model, it's a pain is a gentle word to use.
You just Google search for somebody else who's already had the pain.
Exactly. So what you can do then with this card is you can...
to be the first guy.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's true. So then you can save this. So we can call this CVT bug identifier. And you can add some text and some comments around it. And so now this card has been saved off into my list inside a card builder. So when this comes up, that card will be here. And so now we can publish this to the card store. So let's put it under, I don't know, a health check. And so now it's published to the card store. So now you guys can go and use this, run it on any of your environments, and you can find your blog active. So this is a means for your verbal words to be activated in a customer environment. Everything you guys write about has the ability to be encapsulated on this platform, just like I did that. So a matter of minutes, I've gone through many of your blogs and postings and several things you've written about, which are usually announcements to the community, to the user, that here are dangerous configurations. Here are unsupported configurations. Here are queries that will get you in trouble if you do certain things on top of vSphere. So many of the intellectual property that you guys express into your blogs, we believe there's a platform on CloudPhysics for you guys to actually go and activate your thinking and turn it into something.
And you likely monitoring this in the background, people are creating these custom cards, and if enough people are doing it, you can then provide it for everybody?
Yeah, so I don't know how many of you remember, when our platform wasn't even ready, and we showed up at VMworld in 2012, we didn't have the money to register for that, but Fusion.io, which was one of our core partners, allowed us to squat in their booth, right? So we had that little thing there, and we won a Best of Show award. And as part of that, kind of hacking the VMworld conference, which was a lot of fun at the time, we invited you guys to come on here and just start designing your cards. Yeah. And so people went crazy, and there are hundreds of these cards here. I just published one that we just created around your blog, sitting inside of the health check area. And so as a community, the ability to share PowerShell scripts is limited, mainly because of the artfulness that requires and the dependencies it has on different levels of versioning in the environment and on the different machines that it has to interact with, and the security issues that go with it in many cases. This is a means of executing queries without actually understanding the mess that is the object hierarchy of vSphere, which is a nightmare. And you can exercise some incredibly sophisticated things. And almost to a person here, many of the things in the core intellectual property that I see you guys developing and putting in the marketplace today, here's a way for an end user to actually take your blog and put it into action.
Just to clarify, is the card store public, open to everyone who uses CloudPhysics?
It is. Right now, we are trying to figure out ways in which to maximize the exposure and the value of this to the community in particular, which you guys represent. We've always been trying to do that. We have not emphasized that enough until now, when there's a new level of sophistication around this, and an approach that we want to talk to you guys about in terms of global queries. So these are all queries that you can take a card and now apply to each and every environment that you interact with. Because remember, the card doesn't contain the data, it's just the logic that you've created. So
Yet, I also wanted to follow up on that. So there is a mechanism if I'm running a query against a specific item in my infrastructure, that's not going to show up in the card. It's just a logical sequence, not the specific.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Correct.
So we have a
Bottom is back.
Zerto employee. Wow.
So it's just a search query, basically.
It is a query. It can range from very simple to like radically complex. And I'm going to show you some of the world's most complex analysis that has been built off of this platform.
I mean,
in a second.
anything.
Oh, good.
What's in the card? If you click on one of the cards, what specifically is in there?
Commercial script.
So in this case, this is just a data store that lists mount points for NFS. So again, some of these things are like very ad hoc-ish, very lightweight, but you want to assemble them in a way that makes sense for maybe a junior admin to go and execute for you. Or
But the thing is, if you really want to leverage the community and everything that's in it, if you take what you just created, you would probably have a link to Andreas'
Yes.
blog to make sure that people can read that and figure out how they have to solve it.
we would so be there for this. That's one of the things, I think it's a brilliant idea. Creating that link and that ability so that when you blog about it, you can link it to the card, to this. And then a user, remember, in order to activate the card, they have to connect their VApp to our service. And then this card, you just add it to your cards. So it'll show up in your deck by virtue of the link that you've actually made between your blog and our site.
And then the reverse needs to happen as well, that in the description here is a link
Yep.
back to
Yeah.
Andreas'
Yep.
blog.
And so we have reviews. There's a whole system set up here that I really would like to reinvigorate, because we went down this path originally, but then we got so caught up in when we first started releasing our platform with servicing enterprise customers directly, that, as an early stage company, we had to focus on that first.
You needed
now,
money.
yeah, oh yeah, that, right? But now we're starting to see more pervasiveness in this global data set is about to just totally mushroom very, very quickly based on our partnership distributions. And I really fundamentally believe, you guys, we have a very interesting collaboration that fits and converges with as I said, the intellectual property you create in the way a user can activate what you write about. And so I'm excited to explore that with you guys. Having follow-up dialogues around this, I think, would be really interesting in many levels.
And I suppose anything that's grabbed from vSphere can be used. So I know I've worked with HP and NIC card versions that mess up with Virtual Connect.
Yep.
You'd be able to very quickly grab out NIC card versions from all of your hosts, which is doable in Power CLI, but not easy.
It's not easy, and that's the thing is, like, especially if you're a consultant or a system integrator and you're moving from customer to customer, you want to be able to lift your toolkit and apply it very, very rapidly.
Yeah, and if simple cards like that work with the free edition, it's just a no-brainer.
Yep.
Yeah, all the community wants to.
Yeah. So
we should talk about this, because we're very enthusiastic in trying to work with you guys collaboratively to enrich this and expand your knowledge base into the user base in all types of dimensions. There are things that could become very contrarian to the way some people look at things. They could be very supportive of ways other things may look. But it's all being driven by data that you guys define how it's queried and what the logic is that pulls the data together.
yep, sometimes there's just a really good tangential view.
Yep. So I'd encourage you, if you connect to your home labs or whatever, and then contact me or Chris, and we can start to lead you through a lot of this. A lot of stuff here is very problematic to get at, especially if you're getting into the distributed switching configurations, which is maddening on so many levels. There's a lot of transformation of the vSphere APIs that we do that no one else in the market does. think Chris Wall and Think Ahead were very instrumental in helping to define many of the cards that you also see here.